Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's announcement that she will only grant one-on-one interviews regarding the second anniversary of her inauguration to journalists of color has set off a media firestorm. According to Mayor Lightfoot, her decision is over a lack of diversity in Chicago's City Hall press pool. During a news conference earlier today, Mayor Lightfoot responded to some of the criticism about the decision.
I saw some of the commentary, which frankly was insulting, to suggest that journalists of color won't ask the tough questions. Really? To suggest that somehow I'm saying certain journalists are racist? Really? No, the facts are the facts. And the fact is that this press corps does not reflect the diversity of the city.
Joining us to discuss Mayor Lightfoot's decision and diversity in media is senior writer for the Root, the great Michael Harriet. Michael, so this is fascinating to me because we're both in journalism, and so I'm just fascinated by your take. What is your just gut take right off the top?
Well, initially when I heard it, I said good for her before I even knew what her purpose was, because when it first hit the internet, people were saying that she was excluding white journalists. They didn't say that she was trying to promote diversity in the media. They said she was excluding white journalists. And this is something that white people honestly don't consider when they look at it, because they see whiteness as a default. So when you look at Donald Trump, for instance, in 4 years in office, he did 2 sit-down interviews with a person of color, right? When you look at people like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell and Ron DeSantis and Brian Kemp, they don't do sit-downs with journalists of color. Now, they say they only do it with conservative outlets, with people who represent their political ideology. But we all know that when you talk about, I only talk to Republicans, that means white people. When you only talk about, in Brian Kemp's case, people who went to Harvard, that means white people, right? And so they don't see the disparities because they just see like, well, we're just all journalists. But there is a problem with diversity in media, and with somebody like Lori Lightfoot, this is a way you can address it.
So first of all, I think part of it is just the announcement of it. I remember when Barack Obama was going to the 50th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March across the Evans-Pettus Bridge, he invited us, it was 6 of us, black journalists. He didn't say to the rest of the press, I'm not going to invite you. He just chose 6 black journalists, and that's who was on the flight with him, and so we arrived with him. So I think people do this, and I think doing a specific event where you say this is something that is targeted towards a particular community, and therefore I want to target the coverage or allow people in that community to write about it, or cover it. I think that's fine. I do, however, think anything that is done for you can be used against you, and I do worry. You have no worry whatsoever about the next mayor who is not black saying something similar that does in fact exclude black people?
Well, again, that's based on the premise that they don't do it already, right? They do
right,
it already. And this question is interesting because when you talk about Chicago media, the Chicago Sun-Times, for instance, right? In a city that's minority, where white people are a minority, only 17% of the Chicago Sun-Times are journalists are black, right? And the same thing with the Tribune. So you ask yourself, right, when you hear about all of these bad and negative portrayals of Chicago, where does that come from? Maybe it comes from people who don't understand the nuances of a city where they are the minority. And so it doesn't just speak to the diversity in media, but you might want to have some other portrayals of your city other than people who are saying it's the black people and the gang violence and what about Chicago every time someone brings up any kind of racism. And to be honest, man, when you look at this, like the Washington Post covering DC and New York Times, those staffs are way disproportionately white, and they cover cities that are disproportionately people of color. And it's almost like you don't get an honest portrayal of the city because you don't have a diversity on your staff. But Lori Lightfoot doesn't work for a newspaper or a TV station. She's the mayor. So this is how she can address it from her end.
Yeah. See, listen, the complaint about whether or not black people are going to ask tough questions, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, first of all, that's offensive. Number one, whoever was asking that question, that's offensive to even put to us. But I do, there is a bit of a rub with me about a politician trying to make themselves the champion of media, even black media, because we ask tough questions just like everybody else. We're journalists. And so my job is to hold you accountable. In a way, we need champions. I get nervous about politicians trying to be journalists' champions. Does that bother you or worry you at all?
So I think that's a different subject, right? But I do think that, there are criticisms and fair criticisms that you can have of Lori Lightfoot, right? But, let's just take the thing of color, the people of the race out of it, right? If you were mayor of your city, running, let's look at it purely from politics, running for a second term, wouldn't you want the people who portrayed your city to understand the nuances of the city? Like, we blame the crime, but we know Lori Lightfoot ain't Batman. She can't be out there, stopping the police and jumping in front of bullets when they shoot black people. And we understand that the systemic problem with policing is separate from Lori Lightfoot's problems that she's had with politics and as a mayor. But white people who don't understand the nuances of the city tend to conflate all of them. So it is a shrewd political move to have people who are nuanced and can understand your position. Now, if she was a Republican, she would just say conservative, right? If she was in Georgia, she could say, but it's all white. That's what I'm telling you is that the race thing it only means it when you say black people or people of color. When you say white people, there are a million synonyms that you can use to euphemize what the white people are always doing.
Now, every time I see Mayor Lori Lightfoot, I'm going to now imagine her as Batman because you have now put that in my head and I cannot get it out. Michael, thank you so much for
she's not Batman. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that she's not Batman.
All right. Michael, thank you so much for joining us again.